say, ciao, Marco. Good to see you.
Ciao, Jen. Good to see you. Very nice to
I
meet you.
I am so excited to sort of share, because we're going to talk today about our trip, but this came about because you reached out about wines, and then one thing led to another. I heard about your really interesting background as a food and wine journalist and a wine specialist, and then a tour. And I was like, I mean, it could have been the accent as well, but I was super excited to find a way to work with you. So, how did you find us? Can you? I don't even remember if I've asked you that before.
Jen, first of all, I have to tell you that I studied like a bachelor's degree for my accent, maybe a master degree. So when I came to the US first, that I was, I mean, involved in selling Italian wines. And then the distributor told me, Marco, you need to have this broken Italian accent, so it sells a lot if you're selling Italian products. So that's why I had to maintain this, and I have to tell you it worked. And
It works.
but by the way, believe it or not, my graduation is in biology. So I'm a biologist, and I did my master degree in journalism in Milan. So I have a little bit of a scientific background and journalism background, and then I specialized. My passion was food, wine, and travel. So I immediately became one of the main editor in chief for a lot of magazine in Italy, and then I was moved to London. And I became the specialist for DK, which is an editorial publishing company in London that now is part of Random House, Penguin Random House. And I was the Italian specialist for their titles. So I wrote the Guide of Sicily, the Guide of Amalfi Coast. I put my hands on 52 books in 4 years there. So that's where I create my background. And then my passion about food and wine, and then it took me to also became, even if it doesn't count so much for my career, but I'm also a certified sommelier. So I know, but in Italy it's different, because who's doing the sommelier certification is because they meant to work in the restaurant business. It's not because you need to know about the wine. So that's why at a certain point I didn't go forward, because it was more for professional people that then they have to go and work in the restaurant. So that was not my idea. So it's a mix of passion. So working with passion is what makes the difference. So that's why I don't feel tired of doing this. And I moved to the United States back in 2002, and I did an MBA at George Washington University, because my brother is a physician and was working at the NIH in Bethesda. So he told me, Marco, why don't you come here and do something? So I moved from London to New York, and that's it. So I fell in love with the passion that the American people have with Italy. And so I thought that it was a good chance to start doing something. And I opened my first company importing food and wine in the United States. And then I was bringing to Italy all the buyers and people that were involved in the food and wine industry. These programs were sponsored by the European Community Italian government. So I had just to bring the people there. And then when they were coming back to the US, they were calling me, Marco, I have some clients in my restaurant they want to do, because they were putting on the screen the picture of the trip that they did with me. And so their customers were so jealous that were saying, oh, I want to go there. I say, yes, but it won't be like sponsored by the government. These people have to pay. Say, yeah, no problem, no problem. And then at this point, I invented this business model that was involving the restaurateurs or the shop to involve their customer and travel all together, because I know people can know me, but who better than the owner or the buyer,
Right.
that is every day in front of them and can be their real testimonial. And it worked very well. So before the pandemic arrived, I was in 4 years, I was growing and growing from the Dolomites to Sicily, but always keeping the niche, like my company, Niche Italy, the niche approach, the artisanal approach. So I replicated an artisanal concept instead of becoming industrialized. So that's very important. So probably I couldn't grow like a huge company, but I'm still enjoying what I do. That's the most important thing. And the second question is, how how I knew you. It's because I'm involved in this new project, which is very interesting. You know, during the pandemic, obviously, I couldn't do so much about um, travel business, but I was trying to entertain all my travelers doing some live Zoom from Italy. I was going to the pasta maker, I was going to the wine maker, and giving the emotion through the screen, but again stimulating the people in wishing to travel as soon as was possible. And going around in the wineries, I figured out something, and I was thinking, listen, when people are coming to visit us, and even now that we are doing like remotely, they are always asking, Marco, how can we have this wine? I can, and sometimes shipping the wine from the small winery, because when we do the
Hmm.
tour, usually we like to prioritize like a small family producer. Maybe we see also one famous big, because you know it's a highlight, but the rest is we like to show what is difficult to find, no? That's our principle. And so shipping this wine to the United States was always a problem, because you know, shipping costs probably were higher than than the cost of the wine. Sometimes they didn't do the paperwork right, so it was
Yeah.
hold the in Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia UPS warehouse for days, then maybe the wine was gone. So I said, why don't we create a group of these small wineries that has the same concept of be family-owned, small production, and quality-oriented, and bring them to the US? Obviously, I had to find an investor, so I found two. I found two investors that they believed in the project. They are not winemakers, so but they are wine aficionados, so even better, because they don't
Yes.
think that their wine is the best of the world. And so we
Excellent.
started, and it was pretty successful at the beginning. And my idea was to partner with what is going to go best with the wine, the cheese. So wine and cheese is the best marriage. And so thanks to Gina that she's working with me, we start making a research on who are the most quoted quality-oriented cheese store in United States. And we found two that were on the top of the list. One is Antonelli cheese in Austin, and the other one is you. So that's it. We have to start. We have to start with them, and as things are meant to be, no serendipity, what they
Yes.
say. So it was like with both you and Antonelli. So I have an event with Antonelli cheese on the 15th of July, and it was like we were waiting both for this kind of meeting since
That's
because
great.
we have the same energy, we have the same passion for what we do, and then you know the trip I think is something that
That's right.
comes spontaneously when you talk about good things coming from Italy. Then the first thought is okay, I want to taste it, but then I want to go there.
Yes, definitely. Well, first of all, we love the Antonellis. Kendall and John are good. We're all the secret is the entire cheese world is all friendly. We all know each other. We talk to each other almost on a daily basis about something. We've all been in really close contact during the pandemic. How are you doing sampling? How are you doing all this? So you couldn't have picked a better two cheese places,
Yeah,
I would say.
thank you,
But
thank you.
I'm biased and I love
Uh,
the Antonelli. So
okay,
it's
thank you, and
good.
thanks to Gina, which is
Yes.
our you said the hammer. She
Yes.
doesn't give up.
Well, it's fantastic. And it really, when talking to you, it really just sort of, for us, just roller coastered. I don't know what an Italian phrase is for that, but you know, we thought about the wine, and then we thought about doing the classes, and we thought about what if we did a whole summer of Sicily? What if we gave back to our customers, both our shop customers for Curds&Co, but also our curd box customers. You know, there are some classes they'll be able to take virtually from anywhere, even though they won't be able to have the stuff. Our Taste of Sicily, the class we do at the end of June, people can just sign up for that from anywhere in the world and watch and listen along. And we'll let them know what types of things we're trying, so they can go to their local store. They won't be able to taste everything we have, but we also want to be talking more about Sicily then. But for now, I just want to talk a little bit about what people can expect from our trip to Sicily. I'm really excited. You and I we've talked about a bunch of different iterations, but essentially what you were saying before is that it's niche. This tour is very much like what I would take as a store owner, getting to go inside and getting special access to things, and not even like only because I own a store, but because if you don't know the right person who would love to talk to you, you don't get to talk to them. So you've collected some beautiful stops, from salt to chocolate to wine to cheese to just beauty and great places to stay. Like, how are you picking the places that we're going to see in Sicily?
First of all, Sicily is where I live, so so probably the region in
Easy
Italy.
answer.
Yes, easy, and it's where I started also my Italian company, and it's where everything started. Even in back in 2014 when I opened my company, my first tour was in Sicily. So this is just like an emotional thing, obviously. But practically, I think that Sicily is the island in the Mediterranean Sea that has more melting pot of cultures. It's like I say, it's the New York of the past, because you can
Really?
imagine
Yeah.
that going back, dating back to the like 2,000 years ago. So we start having the Greek, then the Arab, then the Normans, then Spanish, French. And a little bit of also from Eastern Mediterranean, because you can imagine that it's in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, and is a strategical place to control both the trade and the
Right.
military action. So Syracuse,
Hmm.
it was for 500 years the most important Greek harbor outside Greece. So it was the main hub of the Magna Graecia. That's why when we're going to go to Syracuse, we're going to see the spice market, which is in the same location of about 2,000 years ago, where all the merchants were coming from Eastern Mediterranean bringing spices like curry. That probably curry was coming from the India, so were brought to the in Lebanon and then or Egypt, and then with the boat they were bringing to Sicily. And then in Sicily they were the merchant for Italy, but also for the Western Mediterranean that were coming there to buy and then ship to Spain, France. So it was the real hub, and you can still feel this kind of sensation when we will go to Syracuse. In terms of so the eastern part of Sicily, that's why we call it more Greek, because
Yep. Okay.
not because of the temples, because the temples are a little bit everywhere in Sicily, but because of the personality of the people, and also the food culture, because we have like the Parmigiano di Melanzane, which is coming from the moussaka in Greece, and
Okay.
specifically this one in Catania area, the original one has also grind meat like the moussaka in Greece, which is pretty amazing. And so now if you ask Parmigiana, you won't have the grind meat, but the old recipe is like the one in Greece. And if you go to the southeast, where is close to Syracuse, Ragusa, Modica, this part was completely rebuilt in the 1600 from the Spanish, because there was a huge earthquake from Etna volcano. So the biggest eruption was in 1662 and destroyed completely this part of the island, not because of the lava, but because of the earthquake, of the shaking. So in Naples, we had the Bourbons that just arrived from Spain before founding the kingdom of the two Sicilies. So they came down and they rebuilt with the Spanish Baroque architecture, and also brought some of their food specialty. When we're going to go to Ragusa, we have the impanate, which are exactly like the empanadas. So they are like a small calzone with the meat and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
So because they were coming from Spain, that were coming probably from South American heritage. And also the chocolate. Modica is a Spanish Baroque city, totally rebuilt in 1600, and the chocolate is like the chocolate from Mexico, from where I'm now, from the Aztec tradition, where they didn't use the fire to melt the cocoa powder and the sugar, but it is done with the power of the hands. So when you eat it, it's almost crunchy because the sugar
Yeah.
is not melted, and also not heating with the fire. It's how can I say, retaining all the property of the cocoa bean, all the polyphenols, all the good like good acid, they don't break their molecular. Sorry, this is my biology
Yeah, no, I
background.
love it. I love it.
The polyphenols that you can have in the extra virgin olive oil, in the cocoa bean, and in another vegetables, at a certain temperature, their molecular chain is breaking. So the same thing with the extra virgin olive oil. If you use it for cooking, you lose all the properties because they are breaking. So that's why we suggest for cooking use sunflower seed oils. Don't use extra virgin olive oil for frying. Even if some
Yeah.
chefs say, "Oh, it's better," yes, no. You are wasting money because then at the end it's going to be probably worse than the seed oil for frying. But when you have a raw, you can have all the antioxidant property, like for this kind of chocolate. So it's very interesting also how we kept all this tradition. Going west, now we go to the Arab country. So imagine that from Tunisia, from Morocco, but especially from Egypt, they were all coming on the west part. And if you go, when we will go to Trapani, we're gonna enjoy the couscous. Couscous is typical from Maghreb, from North Africa, but the one in Trapani is the fish couscous. Now people say, okay, yes, because the couscous is with fish in Tunisia as well. No, in Tunisia the couscous is with lamb, is with vegetables. It's very difficult to find with seafood. So this is a kind of combination of different culture, because imagine that Trapani, it's on the northwest point of the island, and it got the French influence from Marseille, from the Golfo del Leone, and the Maghreb. So the French, they brought this bouillabaisse, which is the fish soup with the tomato sauce, because usually they didn't use the tomato sauce in the fish stew in Sicily. They were just boiling and putting on top. So they were being, and the couscous as a base from North Africa. So that's a combination
Right.
of two cultures. That's what is really interesting when
Yeah.
it's like you are working in the history without traveling all Europe. You're just everything
Right. Yeah.
concentrated in one island. That's for the food. Then for the wine we can talk for forever, because I just want
We
to,
should save some for the trip, but
yeah.
I think what's really interesting about this is my family, we do food tours everywhere we go. We've done them all over the States. We've done them in different countries. We've done them all over the world. We've done one in Petersburg. We've done them in Finland. We've done them in both Portlands here in the state. We've just done them everywhere. And one of my favorite ones was in Montreal, and it was sort of the history of immigration through a food tour. So how these people came from other countries and took over the space, but then they got pushed out and new people came. And so we tried all these different cultures and how they had sort of assimilated into Montreal. But I think this is on a much bigger scale. It's almost like you're hitting multiple countries in a beautiful place. And I can't think of anything better right now for all of us who have been stuck from traveling anywhere for so long. Like this is like I didn't think about this even when we set this up, but now I'm like, wow, you can hit so many different cultures and stories and history and archaeology and food all in one place. I'm sad that this is only a 9-day or a 10-day, 9-night trip, because I think we could probably spend a month there and not discover everything. So
Jenny, you can
just
stay,
really
yeah?
great.
You can
I will
stay.
stay.
You'll be my
I'll stay. I can
guest.
work from there.
We go. There are some nice small islands north of Sicily where I have my beach house called Aeolian Islands. They are volcanic, are like the Hawaii. So
Beautiful.
we can go there. And then if I have to go to work, I leave you the key, and then you have the little boat to go
Great.
fishing. So
I can come and help do some cheese tours with you. Yeah,
yeah.
and that's the nice bonus, is that everything there, and it'll allow us, Matt and I, who own the companies, to talk to the people that are coming also about cheese. So sort of our impression coming in on this, and sort of the magic that we see even in the States, and like we'll be discovering stuff there too, but it'll be a really interesting sort of layer on your beautiful tour, because we'll be able to add on, it would be like if a chocolate expert had also come, who owns the store. I think it's a really interesting thing. And I'm so excited for people to see inside, really be able to ask the questions. So it's not just where you're taking us, it's also what everybody on this tour is going to bring to this and their questions and where they take us. And,
Absolutely.
it's going to be great. I love that you have a biology background. I have an art background. And what will everybody else that comes to this have is really exciting. What's your favorite stop? Because you've done a number of tours of Sicily, but what's the one that you love taking people to that they're just sort of you just sit back and wait for their expression or how much they enjoy it? Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I think that first of all, I would like to say something about the cheese, because Sicily has two different area of production: one for sheep's milk and one for cow milk. It's the east is more cow milk, and the west is more sheep's milk. And I think that one of the wow factor is when I bring people to eat the fresh ricotta in the morning, early in the morning. And that's in Ragusa, where we have more cow milk, and there where they produce the caciocavallo. Then we're gonna show you. We're gonna go in these caves where they're aging. They're hanging on this wooden bar. So there is a lot of history and things. But also you're gonna eat when they slice on the warm bread, extra virgin olive oil, a slice of cheese. But I don't want that. But the wow factor is when we go early in the morning to visit the shepherd. So he's with this big copper pot with a fire, and he's making the fresh ricotta, and then we eat in the bowl with a little bit of honey in the morning. So it's a Sicilian breakfast. That's where people really they get crazy, and then me too. And
I can't wait. I'm so excited. Finding sheep ricotta here, just anywhere, is very, very difficult. To have it warm. I've also heard that they do something I'm interested in trying, a baked sheep ricotta.
Yes, ricotta infornata. We're gonna see and visit the producer in Castiglione, Sicilia. It's called Alcantara Formaggi, and they only do baked ricotta. So it's like, and they bake in this powder, in this ceramic pot, small ceramic pot. They put in the oven, so it looks like they're making a cake or like a creme brulee, but it's not.
Okay.
Imagine it's like a big creme brulee.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to try that. I can't wait to try everything, and I really am so excited to be able to do this with a bunch of other cheese lovers. Like, everybody that's coming are either fans of our store or fans of our curd box. They are people who will fully enjoy it. There will be no, we will have no boring food people on this trip. It's going to be fantastic.
That's very important. So you have to tell me when you think it's too much food, then we can. There is it's always I always have fun with the people when they arrive. So we go on the bus, and I introduce myself, and first of all I say, I gave you the itinerary. You read it, forgot it, because now it's going to be a surprise one day after the other. That's just the basic track. But then you're gonna And so people say, create this kind of the breaking the mentality. Then I say other two things. So the other one I don't want to say now, which is a few rules to be truly Italian, like the time to drink the cappuccino or things like that. So that's that's very important. And then I say, so prepare your stomach, because at the beginning, so there are three phases: is extension, compression, and then relaxation. So
excellent.
At the beginning, you try, you can fall asleep. Yes, I'm good. Then after the third, the fourth day is So that's why usually you do a break around the fourth day, and so you can your like stomach can start to relax, and then you have all the space that you want. But you know what? People usually they don't gain so much weight when they do this tour, because first of all the food is all genuine, fresh from the garden, no preservatives. So that helps a lot, and also we walk. So obviously it's not mandatory. If you don't want to walk, you say, but
get good walking shoes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So there are not like steep slopes or things like unbearable, but when we do some, even because we're going to be in the middle of October, so the weather will be very mild. It's not like when it's in the hot summer that probably in the middle of the day you'd say, I want to stay with the air conditioning. So it's going to be around 75 to 82. So that's very, very pleasant. So that's why we
Lovely.
have the full day to do activities. And Jen, that's also very important, because we pick very beautiful location to stay. If someone, and it happens, say, you know, Marco, this morning I'm off. I want to stay by the pool. I want to drink. I want to eat my cheese by the pool. No problem. It's a
Yeah.
vacation, so no, it's not
Yes.
tour de
Yes.
force.
Yes. Well, that's fantastic. I think that the whole idea that the first trip a lot of us are going to be taking is to some place with somebody who's passionate like you, who knows what we're doing, who can essentially meld it to the people that are on the bus, the people that are on the tour. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, this is a small tour. This is not like a giant bus full of
No,
50 people. We
no,
will all know each other very well at the end. We keep it super small, and it's going to be discovery. And I think even Marco, you must learn something every time you do this from the people that are doing it. Like, you know, what you haven't talked to anybody about before because you never thought of it, and now somebody asked the right question, and you're going to see something so it's living. It's like our cheese. So if you like our cheese
yeah,
is a living thing. This tour is a living thing. It will become something, and will be safe. We'll have people who know where we are, you know, in this crazy after times as we are coming out of all the pandemic. This isn't just like flying off to Germany and hoping that that thing is open and this place is open and what will it be like. We will be in good hands. We do, in case something bad happens, we do have a secondary date in May. I think things are looking really good. The EU is is starting to do their magic right now, and the US still needs to get on it. For those of you who don't know, that Starbucks behind Marco is in Cancun. He's working on coming into the States, but he has to quarantine. So it's super exciting. And I think I couldn't find a better way. And one of the reasons why we jumped on this and tried to get this tour in this year was sort of, again, as our gift to our friends who love food, that this is the way to make your first trip. This is a way to celebrate our newly found freedom, and everybody on the trip who's coming will be required to be vaccinated. Marco's team is vaccinated, and we're feeling really, really good about this. So I think it's exciting, Marco.
absolutely. And okay, I was one of the first vaccinated person probably, because I did my second shot on April 20, so I was like one of the first with Pfizer. So it's everything okay.
Excellent.
But and in Italy now, also people from 30 years to 20, they're getting vaccinated now. So by the summer, everyone won't. But in Italy, I mean, we don't have so many people that are refusing the vaccine. I don't know if maybe because we were hit very hard in the past, so they know what does it mean. And you know, when the economy in Italy is not like in the US, because we unfortunately we don't print our own money. We depend to Germany. I say not to Europe. We depend on Germany. So that's why when we had the pandemic, so it was a real disaster for the economy. So now that we are start breathing again in every sense, so we don't want to go back. So that's I think is the principle that everyone is following. And I'm behaving now like I wasn't vaccinated. So I'm wearing the mask. I mean here, but then maybe in 2 months will be different. But as of now, I wearing the mask where I have to wear the mask. I take all the precautions, not because I don't believe, because the vaccine are working. I'm a biologist, so they are working. I spoke. My brother is a microbiologist, so he's in the vaccine also research. So but I wanna for now, like I feel happy, but I wanna be cautious for another month or so while I'm traveling. And Europe is. I give you a little bit of update of the situation. So
And this
from
is
May,
as of May 27th, right? I think is today's date. So that
today
people watch
is
this
May
later, they
37.
know where we
Okay.
are. Yes.
So May 15 in Italy, we lifted the quarantine, and we lifted the restriction for. We are colors now. We were colors, so we were like red when it was. Then we became orange. Now we are yellow and white. So some region also became white. It means that it's completely like 2 years ago. Yellow, it means that you have to. There are some restriction in the opening time of some activities, or the gym, or or maybe have to be not more than a certain amount of people. That I think is
Right.
perfectly.
Yes.
Is perfectly fine, and it depends on how many people are vaccinated, full vaccinated in that, because death and hospitalization drop down. So we have 95% less than a month ago. So it's like happening in Israel or in UK. So that's the great success. And Europe also lifted the quarantine for US travelers from May 15. If they are tested obviously negative when they leave and when they arrive. So it's they call a COVID-free flight. So you have to be tested in both ways. And probably from June 15, they're gonna do the green pass. With the green pass, at that point, you don't need to. Everything is in your record. So if you are vaccinated and you tested negative, it's just it's a QR code, and you go. So you don't have to show any paper. That's gonna be the biggest result, because it's gonna help you to travel and us to do all the paperwork and things. And the big difference, Jen, is that last year, even if they opened, people were not vaccinated. Now they're vaccinated. So that's the big difference. So
That's great.
so we
That's
are
great.
we can wait, and I'm so happy because I'm starting receiving a lot of reservation, a lot of bookings, and for me it means a lot. So it was, I mean, it was a very hard time, and now
Yeah.
Now
We're back.
we are back. We are back. We are back, and we are
Fantastic.
happy. And as you are enthusiast to travel, I'm enthusiast to having you, and I can wait to have your questions, because
Excellent.
as you said, questions are making everything interactive. That's why we keep the tour very small. Otherwise, you can imagine 50 questions at the same time. I cannot handle them. So I say maximum 16 at a time. and we don't like big coach bus. So we like the smaller one, the Mercedes, very nice. So that also in terms of transportation, so we don't, because otherwise you have to park the bus very far from where we have to go. And I'm a little bit snobbish in this also. Huh?
I think we all like that. Okay, so to sum up, nice transportation, really nice people, great and very intelligent people guiding us around. Way too much food, and the ability to take a day off or a morning off, or eat more if you want to. And you get to see multiple cultures in one shot, and learn extra about cheese that you wouldn't get if I wasn't on the tour. But so now I just have to go on all of Marco's tours. I think it's fantastic. People can, if you're getting this video somewhere else, people can find out more at curds&co.com/Sicily. And we've got all the information about the trip and about some of our events that we're doing. And some of them you can do remotely. We're going to be watching, we're doing a Netflix party and watching a summer movie called Catch a Wave. It's like a coming of age movie as they were at summer camp in Sicily. It's going to be indulgent, and a glass of wine and some, I don't know, we're going to be carrying some Sicilian snacks in the store. You can just zone out and have a nice night. We'll all be watching from our own places, and we're going to be doing a book club, and you can interact with that from anywhere in the world. And we're super excited. And Marco, thanks so much for sitting with me. Anything else you want to say before we go?
No, that obviously I was overwhelmed about reservation in this fall, because as soon as it was officialized that the tourism is open to the US travelers to Europe, you can imagine. No? But you are very lucky, because is gonna be like that week. I didn't take any other tour, so I'm gonna be all yours. So that's
Excellent. Well, we're lucky. We're very lucky.
yeah. So I will start the first tour that I have is August 23rd. It's a group from Sedona with a restaurateur, and is as a Sicilian origin. So obviously we're gonna do Sicily, and then have a little mix. So another place maybe we can think about in the future, which is very interesting, is the Dolomites. So you go from Sicily to the Dolomites, but Dolomites in terms of cheese making also, it's absolutely, because there are these green mountains with all the cows, and they do incredible cheese. And then Sardinia, Puglia. So
you collect them all, people. Sign up for this one so you don't miss out. We're not gonna repeat this one until we go do everything else. So come and sign up and join us for this. Do it quickly. Like we said, we only have, if you think about it, 16 people. That's 8 couples. You can sign up as a solo. There's a small, gosh, I was really surprised, Marco. It's only a little bit more to be able to sign up as a single, have your single room. But bring a friend, bring a spouse, bring somebody who you haven't been stuck in a room with for the last year and a half, whoever it is, but sign up quickly. People are signing up already. We just announced this like 4 days ago. So don't wait. And like, this is the way to celebrate with us. And
yes,
it's going to
Jen,
be
because
fun.
for my experience, then it seems that we already have maybe 2 couples that signed up in 4 days. So it's going to be filled up very soon. So that's and then I have no mercy. When we arrive at that number, if they beg, please, but no, because
Nope.
getting bigger, we lose all our charm.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Well, the early bird gets the trip to Sicily.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
Exactly.
Well,
Okay.
Marco, thanks for taking your time out of your day today, and enjoy the rest of your quarantine in Cancun. I really feel sorry for you a little bit. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. See you on the 3rd.
Ciao.
Ciao.